All right, so we're live. Now I'm going to go to Facebook. See, hey, look at that. Look above you. Look above you. TV.
So now you're good. You're fine.
Yeah, I know.
Except for me, I'm stuck.
Yep. So these are going to be things that we're just going to have to address or whatever.
Now you're delayed, but not.
Well, it's definitely a delay. So that's definitely a thing.
All right, we're all moving okay now.
It's fine. Just don't even pay attention to it, or try not to at least. Sure. There's a lot of bandwidth being used, so things are going to be a little off. I can't wait to use. Yeah, you're fine. Let me just. Now I'm going to use.
I'm moving okay.
That's fine. Just don't jinx it. All right, so I'm logging onto your account now. As people know what we're doing right now, by the way, because we are live, so be careful what you say. We're live on the air. We'll record the podcast in a second.
Analytics. What else? We got no Nick talk.
Not yet. Nah, we're that good. We're that good. No, I'm on the wrong Chop Sports
my poor
thing.
cousin John in Connecticut, MSG got dropped from his game.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, he goes, 20 years I didn't need MSG. I finally need it again. And they're denying me. I'm trying to get
How do I get this link now?
It's in Chop Sports right now. But of course, now I can't find it on Jimmy's.
By the way, my fantasy league, I'm 3.5 points away from winning, and I got one player in tonight's game, a receiver on Indianapolis.
Why is this not working?
It must be pretty good because I got Pittman, so I have a 92% chance of I'm down by 3.5 points. What does that mean? If he catches two, how do you get 3.5 points in fantasy? Should be if Tua didn't get hurt 5 seconds in the game, and if I would have won this already if Daniel Jones had gone down.
All right, let's do it. Let's rock and roll, baby. Whoa, what happened here? What the fuck?
HDMI out. No signal.
That's fun. I know.
HDMI, that means the cable box if you're going direct.
Hello, everybody. We will be going. I mean, we are live, but we'll be going.
I can just talk to you then. How was your weekend?
Yeah. Packers won. It was a good fight.
In a non-podcast way, how was your weekend? I didn't ask you about it. You're about to talk about it.
Well, I'm telling you. That's how it was. The Packers won.
So the Packers are your whole life.
Yeah, I hung out with Ash and watched football.
There you go. Whether did you go shopping for pumpkins? Did
No.
you do that stuff?
No. She actually came over and then went. She had things to do Saturday, so she came over.
She's working now.
Yeah,
working,
busy.
I watch for those guys.
We're good.
You're gonna be like the Ralph Cram. You gotta watch those guys at the water cooler, bro.
All right, let's roll.
Did you ever see that?
I'm not about to take any self-deprecating bullshit from Jimmy Palumbo here on a Victory Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Chop Sports Daily here on a Monday, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio in beautiful Matawan, New Jersey, the nicest stretch of Matawan, New Jersey that exists right now. Jimmy Palumbo in studio with Sturch and Gooch, and of course AJ is here. He's back from London. He took the trip to jolly old London, and the Jets couldn't get it done. But there's a lot to talk about. And I'm kidding, you didn't go to London. But a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. Big sports weekend. College football went absolutely nuts. Fury Wilder, absolute great fight, and of course the NFL Week 5. We went to town on Week 5. There's a lot of cool things for myself and Gooch, of course, And well, Jimmy, the
I
Giants
didn't have a good
stink,
football
so
weekend, but
no.
it's amazing when the Cowboys and Packers win how gorgeous Mattawan is.
It gets sunny. It's sunny out, even though it's cloudy
This
out.
is my favorite weather anyway.
Oh,
mean,
dude,
we
this
don't
is,
need the
give me
sun.
this all year round. Give me this all year round.
The
Give
guy
me
from the Chamber of Commerce in Mattawan called me and said, Jimmy, we're watching at Red Zone. We just want to make sure the Cowboys and Packers win.
listen,
So I said,
and
"Okay,
sure as
okay."
shit they did.
So
So
when they
it's,
win, it's just a beautiful place to live here. man.
absolutely.
That was such a tough one to watch for me too.
Oh, we'll get into
Back
it, man.
and
That
forth
was
and back and
my whole
forth.
family.
Jimmy, I don't even think you realize how crazy the end of the Packer game
Well, I
was.
have a story about that.
Okay.
My whole family was watching it, and like we
I
were
have a story.
vicariously watching it through you. People were like, "Is he okay? Is he going to be all right? Did he pop a stitch? Like, even though you're not stitched up, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you were ready to lose.
I was
it.
very confident even throughout because the way the game was going. Anytime that we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about
We'll
it
get
later.
into
We
it.
got a big thing. A chop, which we call Hater Fantasy Sports launched the game very last minute on Sunday. There was a winner. They gave away another $100. HaterFantasySports.com is the place to be for the brand new way to play fantasy sports. It's a lot of fun. I came in fifth. I thought I had a shot, but like here's the thing: and scored like 99 points. Came in fifth. So you're gonna score points. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like
I
I filled my team out.
Yes.
And then when I went back in, I think because I took Dalvin Cook, they might have removed my entry, but I went back in to change it and it was either too late and I couldn't find mine.
They're still working out the kinks.
I might
as
have
far
messed
as,
up though because I was doing it in a rush.
I
Yeah,
think it's way harder to do.
Oh, absolutely harder. Like
Way
all you
harder.
fantasy daily people that think you don't know shit until you try to draft a bad team.
I know,
You
it's
know what I
hard.
mean? Like it's
hard.
insane. You have to
And it's also a competitive game.
right.
And so you're trying to say in a competitive environment, who's going to suck besides like wide receiver against a good defensive team. You can do that, but you also have to go like, who do I really think?
You have to pick really good players that you think are going to suck. Like guys that
Right.
typically do really well.
Like bad matchups.
Yeah.
Like typically like even Mahomes last night. I mean, he didn't light up the scoreboard, and that was a tough
it's
game.
hard. I think
Yeah, I took Brady yesterday. He had fucking 9 touchdowns.
I got defeated. But as far as fantasy sports, Brady made me his complete bitch, and I 47 points in my league. Like that's unheard of. But anyway, however, Gooch, we live to see another day in the Chop Sports Survivor pool as we pick the Patriots. We'll get into the Patriots game in a little bit, but that was close. That was unnecessarily close.
Not only was it close, but on Red Zone afterwards, 40 minutes after the fact that the game was over, Scott Hansen's his name.
Yeah.
He made it. He was like, "Oh, the rookie quarterback, first time Belichick losing to a rookie quarterback," and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
He messed up. I didn't.
He did mess up. So I sat
Wow.
there for like 5 minutes, and then I was like, "Wait, are you sure?" I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, "No, it says it right here." I'm looking. My father had the Patriots as well, so I'm like, "Did we lose?"
What's the bigger blunder, Scott Hansen or Bengals kicker? Getting excited about making the field goal.
Bro.
We'll get into it when we talk about the Packers. First, I do want to talk about something that happened on Saturday night before we get into the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, who just, I don't know what they're doing, but we'll get into that in a second. Bro, that fight lived up to the billing, my man.
The retirement Dawsa.
Yeah, dude, Fury Wilder was an incredible fight. I was able to stream it as soon as I got home late. I was able to put it on, and boy, did that deliver. Knockdowns galore. I almost nailed it to a T with referee stoppage in the fourth. There was a flurry of punches from Fury, and it almost actually happened. But what a fight, man.
Honestly, Wilder looked like he was out on his feet since the third round. He
Yeah.
came out, and I thought he's if he would have stuck to his game plan, body shots early, and he was actually effective. I thought he won the first 2 rounds, and then Fury just completely took over, boxed him up, which is what we thought was going to happen. I did not see Wilder putting Fury down twice after getting dropped.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like I was saying, he looked like he was punch drunk after the second round because he came out firing a lot of punches off. But you can't keep up that pace against a guy like Fury.
I didn't watch the fight, but you guys sound baseball. You just the fight itself. You guys seem to go into this as this fight was like you were not as excited about this fight.
To me, it didn't have
afterwards.
the luster the first 2 fights did. That's just to me. That's just my
But it
opinion.
turns out
It turned out to be probably even the better of the
it
three.
didn't have the luster because of how dominant the second fight was. Fury
Right.
completely mauled.
I mean, he
him.
was
there wasn't
licking
even a
his
chance.
ear. Remember that
Then
was
there
just
was-
weird.
then
you
there
remember
was
Are
a
they
that?
lot
going to
like-
do a fourth? I guess they are.
No,
What ended up
it's
happening towards
toast.
as the fight got closer, the odds tightened up. So I'm like, wait, a lot of people think Wilder's going to win this fight, and when you punch that like that, like you see what he could do with his right hand.
Yeah.
The problem is he doesn't have any good setups with it. He's not a traditional boxer. When you're fighting a guy he can literally back himself into the ropes and reach you across the ring Fury's reach is insane. He's a monster, 6'9". So there was just too much. The boxing skills were too much, but it definitely delivered. I was very excited to steal that off the internet. I didn't pay for it.
You son of a crook. But yeah, I mean, listen, the fight itself lived up to the billing. I tell you right now, and somebody just dropped it in the comments, actually, no jab after the second. Wilder doesn't have the fundamentals. He really doesn't. He is not a boxer. You know what I'm saying? He is a fighter. You know, like if he connects, he can kill you. But it's just like I don't know, man. He's just not.
What you see is the difference between a guy that started boxing when he was 20.
Correct.
And Wilder, and then you have a guy in the Fury family who their entire family has been boxing since they were born, since 1900.
Literally,
so the Furies
out
have
the
been
womb.
around for a long time. They're fighting people, the Gypsies, and Tyson Fury is the king of the Gypsies, the Gypsy King.
I mean, how about a shout out to his singing skills at the end? By the way, not only to win, but also to what was it? What was the song he was singing?
I have no idea, but
that was great. But I mean, he
it
put
was
Las
so
Vegas.
off-tune.
He tuned it
And
in.
did anybody see Fury raving afterwards with Steve Aoki and I don't know, I guess some crazy club in Vegas? So he just went 11 rounds with one of the most dangerous men on the planet, which Deontay Wilder is.
He is once he connects.
Say what you want about his boxing skill. He's a brawler. No, he could also box. He did well against Fury. But to go 11 rounds with Deontay Wilder and then go to a rave afterwards and you see the footage of what he's doing and this guy was going nuts. It didn't look like he just boxed 11 rounds.
They just reported his next fight is with Kadarius Toney.
Oh man, Jimmy with the hook.
For three, he's got it.
He's got it from
he'll quietly go to the bench.
Man, what a yeah. Tony's a bitch. Whatever. We'll talk about him when we get to the Giants game. But I guess first we'll dive right in. Well, I gotta ask you. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights 3-0 to start the season.
Yep.
Everybody jumping all over these guys. As I was too. I was like, this defense is good. Shiano is great. This is a lot of fun.
Everybody,
What the hell happened?
First of all, let me talk everybody off the cliff. A couple unique things. Now, you guys are into this stat shit and all this fantasy crap.
Yeah, silly us.
Couple of things. Yeah. Couple of things. Yeah, they were 3-0. Now they're 3-3. Okay. But I think something occurred that I don't think I'm sure it has happened before, but it's odd to me as a Rutgers fan. Maybe it's happened to Alabama or Georgia. I don't know. Maybe the SEC. I'm not sure. Rutgers has now lost 3 in a row to 3 teams that are in the top 10 in the country. Now, when you play,
they're definitely playing good teams.
When you play in the SEC, you definitely play a lot of top 20 teams. But when do you play 3 in a row? Not the whole season. I'm talking about 3 weeks ago. They hadn't played anybody in the top 10, and now they just played 3 in a row. So if you also look at the teams they beat, Delaware is a Division II thing. We throw them out the window. Also,
Temple sucks too.
Timeout though. Temple and Syracuse, they have 3 wins. So it's not like you're an 0-6 Temple timeout. No, what I'm trying to tell you is the great reveal that we are completely not elite was the Ohio State game. I was there. Ohio State had a foot on everybody. Michigan State actually was very big as well, not as big as Ohio State. And the other odd thing about the game, I don't think this has ever happened. 4 plays, they scored 4 touchdowns. All 4 were 65 yards or more, and one of them was 94. Even in the NFL, every now and then a guy will throw 4 bombs. I get it, but not often.
Yeah.
So did Rutgers get outplayed? Yes.
Rutgers was definitely susceptible to the big play.
Big
time.
Look, when you
lose in those big play environments, sometimes as a fan, you're like, oh, we're getting killed. And then all of a sudden, the game between the trenches kind of balances out a little bit. I don't think we could have beaten Michigan State, but listen, they play outside of the Penn State game. Everybody else, like if you go to Massey'sRatings.com, they use all the polls cumulative. There's like 40 polls in the country. They do it. Rutgers is ranked, I think, around 46 in the country right now. And the 3 teams they lost to are all in the top 10, even though they're cumulative. The rest of the games, teams are ranked 93, 98, 53.
So when you looked at the schedule that going into the year, you were like, okay, we have to win the first 3. You did, because you're not going to win the second 3. And you didn't. So it's right where you need to be.
Fair.
People didn't think that Michigan State was going to be 6-0, which they are. So I really think like they play Northwestern this week. Now, Northwestern's probably better than Rutgers, and everybody's better than Rutgers. But like that's the game I want to see. The Illinois game I want to see. The Maryland game to close out the season. Penn State
Start
be
to
a
separate
beast.
yourself from the bottom of the pack of the Big Ten.
And we haven't. We are the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So now if they lose 55-10 on Saturday, then it's like then I got a real big problem with what's going on.
Yeah.
So the loss
back to
wasn't
the
as
cliff,
bad.
everybody.
What was
Yeah,
bad?
Back to the cliff, everyone. I'm going to talk you off a cliff, but you might want to jump anyway.
But I tell you, the other bad thing was the crowd wasn't there. We're playing a top 10 team. It was beautiful weather for football. No, it wasn't hot.
Dave had a lot of confidence, and he had a lot of confidence in Maryland too. And they gave up 85 points or something like that.
Rutgers
What the hell? This guy
AJ, this
pulls it.
wasn't planned.
This is not planned. This guy's taking to Twitter. Look at this.
Woo!
Rutgers over Michigan
Did you
State.
call Maryland over Ohio State?
Because I just felt like Maryland got the brakes beat off them the week before. And
I
I'm
know
like,
why.
they're going to, and they've been playing
because
well.
It's because we have.
No, it's not because of
three
freaking
NIL
Pecoraro.
kids.
It's not.
On the.
No, it's not.
on the
So
roster.
First of
Maryland,
all,
see, Maryland,
I am
Rutgers, and
wow,
Cowboys are
AJ,
like-
what a guy. This is why he's the producer of the show.
They gave up 71 points.
But
That
I'm sure
was
you didn't get my
criminal.
private chat though. As I
So
look at
yes,
the private chat,
Rutgers
please.
is 3-3.
Anthony
They lost
Pecoraro had a
3-0.
busy.
They did.
Okay,
He had
cool.
a busy Saturday, huh?
Oh boy. Anyway,
A lot of punts.
yeah. That's really good. But anyway, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights are the McKnights are 3-3 now.
Before we go on, just to stick with college football,
Sure.
for moving on. Was anybody just happy that Alabama lost for no reason?
I posted
no reason. Just like
I
they
posted
watched the
something.
game, I'm like, oh, they just got beat. This is wonderful.
I posted something today. I think it was on Pro Football Focus. There was the mom,
Are they still favored to win the national title?
Definitely.
Probably. Yeah,
the
but it
mom,
doesn't matter.
the
It was
mom
just-
of the kicker of Texas A&M. They had like a shot on her. First of all, hello, the kicker's mother.
No, it was the kicker's girlfriend or sister.
Oh, then that makes
the
more
mother.
sense.
Yeah.
You know what's sad for me?
What?
The moms of the players in college are too young for me. That's how you know you're just
But anyway,
an aging veteran.
And aging Jimmy
What's
Palmer.
wrong with the
But
belly?
anyway, so they had a shot on her, and she's like, "You can do it!" And she jumped the. It was such a great moment.
That's
I posted it on my Instagram story. It's really good. But yeah, down goes Bama. The game itself. Now, would you agree with this? Maybe you can agree with this. Are you familiar with Pat Kenny from Colonia? He wrestled Simon Diamond. He was
No,
a ECW wrestler. He's your age, I think, maybe a little younger.
Pat Kenny?
Pat Kenny.
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm calling him out here on the podcast. I don't know if he's watching, and if he is, awesome. But he says, and he swears by this, and I don't agree. Like, not even an ounce of my being agrees with this statement that college football is just way better than the NFL. As far as a fan base, as far as like electricity, as far as
There's
like
no doubt
entertainment,
about it.
you're
It's not
that's an
even-
old school
I'll tell
thing.
you what,
He's a
no.
massive Notre Dame guy, so
I
like,
tell you why. It has to do with when you go to a school, you could be when you go to a school, you're like you're not a fan because your dad or you're just it's like you're a fan.
well,
And
that's
you
I'll
get-
bring up that next sentiment. If you don't go to the school, how do you just
there's
pick up a
okay,
college?
well,
You
there's-
went to Rutgers.
Time out though.
Pat Kenny didn't go to
First of
Notre
all,
Dame.
No, but you
I
guys
started
were-
liking Penn State because of Blair Thomas.
You guys are.
I
You guys,
like
you guys are
Michigan.
all wrong. You're all wrong. We grew up in New Jersey. New Jersey is a horrific college state. And like I can tell you right now, Rutgers, when they're on TV, it gets like better ratings than like when Nebraska's playing Wisconsin because of the New York market. But when you go out to Iowa or Wisconsin, there is no Carolina Panthers. Now with the streaming and everything, the NFL is everywhere. We know that. But back in the day, like people drive 4 hours to go to the Iowa game. They can't drive anywhere to go to a football game. So your Nebraska's, your Wisconsin's, your Penn State's. I mean, Penn State's in the middle of nowhere. You drive 4 hours in a Winnebago to go to it.
I just always had that
all
weird
this-
thing. Like there's
Notre
people that
Dame is
are
in the
people that
middle
are
of
like
nowhere.
die
all
hard.
that for me to completely disagree with Jimmy.
No.
The NFL
No,
is
no.
so much better than
That's what
college
I'm thinking.
football. It's
Dude,
not
I'm
even close.
It's
No.
not to me. It's not close.
No,
it's not close.
You guys are
Skill level wise, like who wants to watch a 75-0 win?
It's Saturday.
in football.
You get
Put
a
it this
few of
way.
those. Of course you do.
Did you guys
Come on.
not watch that Oklahoma-Texas game?
Yes,
The
and I-
Ole Miss-Arkansas game? Like,
AJ, I get it, bro. Like there's
Listen.
games, there's examples. I'm like, this is awesome, and it's like
I
it's like
disagree.
red-blooded American. This is great shit. But to me, every game is like that in the NFL. You know, you
no.
find these
No,
down goes
First
Bama
of all-
games.
First of all, there's way more games. If you want to go to a bar on a Saturday afternoon, there's college, and you go like There's TVs all over.
The problem
There are
is I
games
don't give
all
a
over
shit
the
about
place.
any of those games.
Well,
unless
that's
I have
Well, you're
money
not a
on.
college football fan.
But that's what I'm saying. I
No,
went
I
to
am,
I
but
went to
You're not.
Dallas.
No,
I'm
you're
not a
not.
big
So it
college
doesn't matter
football
anyway.
fan.
I went to
It's like
Dallas.
me talking about the MMA. It's like me saying MMA. You shouldn't be talking about MMA in a podcast because I don't like it. That's stupid. I'm aware.
So,
of
you know
it's
what?
Like soccer. It's like saying
You're probably right. Soccer, right? Same
like,
thing.
I hate soccer, but it's a worldwide sport.
but you're a phenomenal coach.
I'm the worst coach in the country.
But
But
no.
no, for the last year. But no, it's college football. It's different. I think a lot of the rah stuff is better than, and there's traditional like the Giant Cowboy game is an old school rivalry, but you get some of these rivalries in college football that go back 70, 80, 90 years, and it's just different. But I also think there's a whole. Here's what I don't like about the NFL, even and NIL is going to ruin college football.
Absolutely.
It's coming.
Get ready.
Because already happened. Well, Rutgers got a guy on their
Someone
bench.
could make the case that college football was ruined, and the NIL might save college football.
Well, no, that's only going to make the rich richer, basically.
Dude, college football ratings are way through the roof. I mean, you'd be kidding me. They're each conference.
The point that I'm
formed their
making
own-
is the NCAA has been fucked up for a long time. So them not having the oversight and being
in
the
terms
judge,
of that.
yeah.
Yes, I'm talking about in terms of like if you get a very
as a
How can I word
business,
this?
it's doing fine.
if
I'm
Bill
not
Gates
saying
went
that.
to Rutgers, he could just say, "Hey, I'm going to give $1 million out to each recruit would be like me and you buying coffee." And the guy in Miami did it. Everybody got $5,000 or whatever the hell it was. It's a game changer.
Now there's literally college free agency.
Exactly right.
Who
And
can
the
spend the
portal.
most? And that's going to be a program thing. And that's going to, I'm not saying it's going to ruin the integrity of the, NCAA, but the NCAA ruined its own integrity.
The NCAA
Long
never
ago.
had
They would have
integrity.
lost in the courts. The portal's a great thing for schools like Rutgers because you can get somebody.
You get a
good
guy
back.
that's really good that's sitting the bench at Ohio State. That's like, I'm going to go play for Rutgers.
Yeah, and you
rather
know
than
what?
sit the
Why
bench
should
here.
it's America? Why
Guys-
can't you? And in the old days, what you had to do to get transfer?
What's that?
You had to go to the coach's office. Hey, coach, I want to transfer, and he could look at you and go, "No," and you were done. And then they went they were yearly scholarships. So how about this? You're a stud. You blow out your knee. They didn't even have to offer you a scholarship the third year. Most of the schools now give you 5 years now. But then you couldn't transfer. You had to wait a year.
It's incredible.
stay a year. So
Incredible.
it's those things are fair to the athlete.
I had to bring that up because I was just like,
It's
I
two
still
different
find
things. It really
I
is.
still find it very hard pressed for me. Like I get invested now because literally I'm looking for the guys that
I
are a
promise
part
you,
of CHOP.
I'll
When Tverdov's on the field, I'm like,
I'll never
Yo,
go.
that's my guy.
I'll
Look at
never
him go.
I'll never go pumpkin picking on a Sunday, and I will definitely go on a Saturday.
that's what I'm talking about. Right.
If I had to
100%.
choose, and I
When
think
you
that-
schedule a wedding on a Sunday, you're a douchebag. If it's on a Saturday, I guess I'm going to have to go. But I had no problem with that. But if you're one of these people like we should do something on Sunday at 12. No, you
listen.
deserve to fall off a cliff.
First of
Like,
all,
that is not
first of
my
all, There's
thing.
another reason why this conversation is stupid, because of the 4 people in this room right now, 2 of the people, their NFL teams suck.
Okay.
So
Well,
I
then
can't wait to go to a Sunday
great,
wedding. And
solid
guys, and
segue.
you guys are coming off you guys won.
A solid segue as
Now,
we
listen,
hit.
our man
first of
AJ
all,
missed 3 field goals
I
again
know-
against the Packers. If you come away from that Packer game
We'll talk
all
about
fired up how good they are.
it. No. Well, can
You're
we
out of your
talk
mind.
about
They
it?
stink too.
First of all, Jimmy, I need you to see this one comment from Scoop Espo. He says, F college football. Let's talk about the 2-0 preseason New York Knicks.
That's right. You know what? I have no problem taking this show about the Knicks for the next 45 minutes.
We'll talk
And I
about
can
it.
talk
NBA
Dave
is
into
right
it.
around the corner. But until then, let's stick with the NFL. Let's start it. Jets opened the NFL weekend in jolly old London, and they drop one here. Now, the smart play was announced on Twitter. I see AJ. I didn't take a screenshot of your tweet, but I should have. And you were riding high with the New York Jets to come back and win this game because historically the Atlanta Falcons have blown a lot of big leads. Super Bowl against Dallas last year, like
They actually almost blew this one.
they
too.
almost blew this one. I just have one problem with the New York Jets right now. Well, there's multiple problems, but there is no supporting cast for a young quarterback like Zach Wilson. He has nobody to throw to. Corey Davis is not your number one guy. I mean, he is on the roster. He is. Get this kid some weapons, and this team might be something, okay? Because right now, this kid's running for his life. He has nobody to throw to, and they let Matt Ryan, an aging Matt Ryan, destroy them.
Matt Ryan's all the way back. I don't know
Kyle
what you're talking
Pitts.
about. You see him
Kyle Pitts
yesterday?
was sipping tea for 3 hours, and he had his best game of his career. Obviously, it's only game 5 of his career, but this is easily, hands down, the best game he's ever played. And the Falcons look like they're somewhat relevant right now, but then again, they beat a bad New York Jets team.
As far as the Jets go, what did anybody expect? They
I
were
don't
the
know,
2
man.
pick last year. They had a ton of money to spend. They didn't spend enough, right? And they drafted Elijah Moore. I think they're just a couple years away. You got to let some of these. They are picking guys to put in the right places. They drafted a running back. They drafted a receiver early. So they do. They see your point, Dave. I promise you that.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
just that they're not great at.
They got my letter.
drafting.
They got my letter like, dear Jets.
Zach Wilson's got 9 picks on the season. What do you
bad,
think the
bro.
over/under is on Zach Wilson picks this year? I say
I think he's
breaks that
probably
record.
he's gonna be up there. He's gonna be up there. Maybe
High
even
20s,
maybe even
maybe
20s.
30.
Maybe
I'm
in the
talking about
20s.
rookie record.
I
So
know.
what's the rookie record right
AJ,
now?
as the
26?
resident Jets guy, you watched this game thoroughly, and you did say that they were going to come back and try to win the game here. Did Joe Douglas do the right thing here by just not spending enough money? Like, are you confident in the future of this team right now? Like,
I mean, if you
with
look
what
at
they've done?
if you look at the free agency class, there really was nobody to
I
sign
agree.
in terms of the big players. Like Kenny Galladay is just another guy whose hip injury lingers throughout the entire season. Yeah, he's talented, but he's not worth that cash. And honestly, if there was an area where I wanted us to sign players, it was on the defense. We didn't do that, but we're actually getting a lot of production out of the defensive players that we have for real cheap that we drafted, such as 5th rounder Michael Carter and other 5th rounder Bryce Hall.
I don't think that I think they spent the wrong money. They would have been better off keeping that money because Corey Davis isn't bringing them to another level.
Yeah.
So paying him that money now, it's pretty much dead money as far as I see it. They'd be the same exact team without Corey Davis.
I don't know, man. It's just like that. Every time I want to get behind the Jets, and every time I think like Salah is going to really just turn this ship around, like they do this shit, and now they're 1-4, and the season. Let's be honest, they'd be lucky to win 6,
Now,
7
I know
games.
everybody has good feelings about Robert Saleh. Everybody's high on the guy. It might be one of those situations, and this is very early for me to say this. He could end up being a great head coach, but the situation that he's in with the New York Jets, you see what they do to coaches over the course of their history. They
I don't
just
think they'll
spit them
attack
right out.
him like they attack Gase, though.
Now, no, definitely not. But here's the thing. Some of these guys, they're really good leaders when they're on the coordinating side of things. But when you're the head coach, it's a whole nother ball game.
Look at
now,
my boy Dan Quinn.
exactly. It's
Right.
a great point. Where there's a lot of guys that they have the respect of their units, so to speak. But when they're in charge of everything, now you're coaching coaches. It's very different. It's
Yeah.
a very different thing. That's why I give Belichick credit. Even Parcells. Look at Parcells. Part of being a good head coach is putting the right people in place and letting them do their thing.
Yeah, Belichick.
Parcells never had any success. Moderate. He did good with the Cowboys that year, but Belichick was on every single staff that he went to a Super Bowl.
He also had Sean Payton on his staff.
I also think you have
He
to
had
look
Sean
at,
Payton on that Cowboys
Yeah.
staff. So
you
yeah.
also have to look at the great assistant. He becomes a head coach for 3 years, shits the bed, and then he ends up going immediately right back to
Where he started.
offensive coordinator, defensive
Yeah.
coordinator. Whereas someone like Jason Garrett,
like a Wade Phillips.
You
too
literally
long, but
took the
it's-
name out of my mouth where they're not good head coaches, but
Right.
Wade Phillips is a legendary defensive coordinator.
Right.
Absolutely.
no doubt
Absolutely.
about it.
Yeah.
Some guys are like that. You're now flying the whole plane, so you're in charge of the airport. You're in charge of
Yeah.
the
Much
flight
different.
attendants.
Meeting times,
Right.
calling timeouts at the right time.
Yeah.
Like all those things fall on you now. Time
Good old
management,
Mikey.
you name it.
All right. Well, listen, Jets are in a little bit of trouble right now, and they got to right the ship. I don't even know who they got
I
next
think
week.
there's some hope with the Jets, but at the end of the day, the Jets stay.
Jets who
We got
AJ,
the bye next week.
this bye. Oh, that's right. They come from London, so they get the bye. This is coming at a good time.
I was
The
gonna
Jets
say,
need
honestly-
this bye to right the ship and get
is-
back on the saddle and
is
get
this
back
London
at it.
thing. Are we done with this London thing?
Oh, you
now?
know what I heard? I heard now that the NFL wants to go to Germany and play football over there too.
And
I know they got-
Get off this
absolutely
shit.
not done with the London thing. You could expect games in Abu Dhabi in the
Oh
coming
yeah,
future.
no,
You
and
could
it's,
expect
it's
games in
such
Japan.
garbage.
They're just trying to expand their reach. It's a global thing, and it's money. You understand that,
Look
right?
at the name of the league.
This is where I will
The
agree with you
National
why the NFL
Football
sucks.
League,
Okay, but like,
not
why
the
don't-
Global
like, why don't-
Football
like,
League.
But I say, send the fucking Cowboys there. Send the fucking
No, they
Tampa
won't.
Bay
You know
there.
why they won't? Because they need them in the States for the big game of the week in the 4:00 slot. This London thing, this 9:00 in the morning bullshit,
all
is for the
shitty
shit teams.
Well, that's why the Giants.
That's
play.
what it
Yeah,
is. And you know
But I
what?
think
London
that's-
is just like, oh, we got some football. This is great. And then here come jolly old Jets
I
and Falcons,
agree,
and that
I
nobody
agree,
wants to
but
watch
I
them.
think over the course of the next 10 years, every team is going. Because what it comes down to is if you have a fan base in England, that's what they want to do. And a lot of times they're going to be sending the Jags
The
Because I think
Jacksonville
the
Jaguars
Jags
will be the London
with-
Jaguars before you know it.
Well, I don't know about that.
I'm telling you right
You
now.
imagine flying a team has to
Well, here's the thing. If you fly from New York to
guess-
LA, it's the same distance from New York to England. Flight
But
wise.
it's not-
but
it's just
there's a big difference between going.
I'm just
Yeah.
telling you the times. The time difference is almost the same. Same flight.
All righty, let's move on.
So-
All right. Next game. Sorry. Jets suck. It's okay. They'll be all right.
I wanna
Jets
get
are
rid
up.
of- I want to get rid
All
of
right,
the London-
now to the cardiac kids known as the Green Bay Packers as they get a win 25-22 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Listen, this game had, and I said this when we did our picks on Friday, the Green Bay defense to me still is suspect, and now even more so because Jair's out. He's on the IR now. They're banged up, man. They're banged up, and what they should have moved mountains to get a guy like Stephon Gilmore. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't, and it's probably a cap thing, and that's fine. But the Packers defense letting Joe Burrow go up and down the field a couple times was alarming. This game, I'll give it to you, Gooch, because you watched it thoroughly and I watched it via Red Zone. But this game, Rodgers is still Rodgers. Nobody knows how to cover Devontae Adams. Nobody, not in the league. He's the best receiver in football. Rodgers is still ripping the ball kind of whenever he wants. When there was 20 seconds left on the clock, I said, okay, cool. So Rodgers completes one pass and they get a chance to win it. And they did. And obviously Mason Crosby wanted to hang himself a couple times, but ultimately,
It was that one
does his
4th
thing.
and 1 the Bengals had, and they went for the field goal.
I was so shocked.
And I was like, "What if you miss it?"
Exactly
you
what
sit
I
on your
said.
back.
Right. Exactly what I said.
If you give the ball again,
It was a
back to
57
my
yarder.
argument,
It was a 57 yarder.
what killed
Why?
that game was that there's now 57 yarders are actually so unbelievably makeable. It sucks that nothing against Rodgers.
yeah, but
He
in a
would've
game
gotten
worth of
30.
analytics,
Yeah, all you gotta
that's
do
not the
is
right call
120
at
yard.
all.
You
It's
go
not
for
the right call.
It's
You go
not the
for
right
it.
call at all. I said it's a lot more likely that you're going to get 1 yard on a play than you will kick a 57
also-
yarder.
was
So if
That's
that-
got to be
that's-
math. That's
There
got
was
to be
over-
math,
It's
right?
uncanny that there was.
It's hard to
four
pass
missed
up.
field
It's
goals.
hard to pass up
Two
the
and a-
opportunity though to win the
win
game
it.
in one play.
Correct.
If you know that your kicker could make that kick, like I'm
This is a
not,
rookie kicker
there's-
now.
but he's got a leg.
That's fine. He's
And
still a
he
rookie.
did have 2 game winners.
I would've
Now
went for it.
moving on from that whole thing. So to your point about the Packers defense, is there holes? For sure, there's definitely holes. But if you look at it as a whole, right? The big play before the second half, and then the drive before as they tied it up, that's the only 2 things. They had the ball on a short field in their first touchdown, right? Early in the game, fine. But then without that touchdown before halftime where Kevin King was in position and again didn't make the play, and Jamar Chase marches it in as time expires in the first half, to me, you take that away, the defense played amazing, right? Completely amazing. They gave up big plays
Look,
too much.
The
Just wait till you get
Packers were good.
Jalen.
The Packers
You'll
were
be all
good last year, and now they're 4-1. So the Packers are a very, very good. football
And
team.
they're going to get some
Wait.
guys back. Jair is not having the surgery, so he'll be back in 3 or 4 weeks.
No, it's definitely
That's
3 because of
huge.
the IR. That's
well,
the
no,
rule.
they have to remove him off the IR. It's all a roster spot thing. You could keep a guy not playing, but he's just got to be on your 50.
Well, that's why they did it, so they can bring up a guy or sign a new guy or whatever, so they have the room.
And Eric Stokes played amazing.
Stokes
For a
is
rookie.
Stokes is a good player. Trust me when I tell you.
I'll be.
And the Bengals, and somebody mentioned this in the comments, missed field goals aside, the Bengals are a good offense. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They're looking really good. And Joe Burrow got beat to shit again. He's finding himself on the dirt a lot again. That Bengals team is a lot better than what we thought. So I'm expecting them to give the Packers a run for their money. And they did. But at the end of the day, Rodgers is Rodgers. Green Bay's Green
their
Bay.
young corner, Azuie, legit.
I'll tell you,
Cheeto, he's a cowboy.
from an NFL point of view, I dropped my daughter off at dance. I had an hour and a half, 2 hours to kill. I went into this old man's bar in Haskell, New Jersey,
Don't know where Haskell
called
is.
Flips, middle of nowhere. I was by far the youngest guy in the bar,
Nice.
and it was old school, one bar with all the TVs all over. And I walked in I was like, you know what, this is perfect. There's like but less time,
Mhm.
going on in the games, and I was like, oh my god. The Lions game is closed. The Packer game is closed. Now, what with these old men? So I had some money on it, only $100 bets. But the missed field goals, watching that in a bar was really wild. And I was like, because I had my newspaper out, I got myself a little bullet on the rocks, and I'm watching the kick, and I'm going through it, and boom, and he missed. And then the Lion game, you forget how fun it is to be in a sports
In
bar
a setting like that.
instead of watching Red Zone on your couch. Which
No, yeah, no.
I was
the bar life.
and I
Is,
didn't even like.
And
I'll
then
go to the
something
bar.
good happens and you turn to your
I
right
was-
and there's no one there.
that's the one time I go to the bar during the football season when the Cowboys have a bye. I'll still go to the bar just to feel that, oh man,
It
go
was really
crazy.
Because the Patriot game, the Packer game, the Lion game, the Eagle game. They were all knocking down with a minute to go. And the missed kicks,
great day of football.
Just to see some old guys go,
and the kicker on the Bengals celebrating prematurely as if they won.
First of all, it missed. Like it was not even. It missed.
My thing is forever and ever and ever. Look at the refs. Right. They know. Like when this kid kicks it and he's looking, when in his head does he say, "Got it, and got it"?
And if you notice,
he didn't see it.
The refs do the same thing. They look straight up at the pole.
They look at each other.
Then they take a few steps up after it's through. They walk up. They glance at each other, and at the same time, they go like this.
No good or good.
No ref sticks his hands up really quick. It's like they have a little.
Like there's a look to each other, so they don't have one do one and one do the other. They're like either.
Yeah,
it's like they mouth it. It's like, is it good? Is it good? Okay, it's good. And then they fucking throw it up.
Because the guy on the other side can't tell, so they have to
correct
the first. So I don't know what. And on television, usually sometimes it hit the flag.
It hit the flag and it like flipped it back in.
But the flag was on the outside.
How heavy is that flag? Like for it to mess with the ball's trajectory.
No, but again, guys, I'm telling you right now, with all those games going on, especially. They have. I know it's the nature. We get better at field goal kicking, but it really is ruining the game when you got to get to the 40, and you can win the game. I think it's they got to do something.
What are they going to do, Jim?
I don't know. It's too easy.
You want to move the post back even farther?
You don't think it's too easy to win a game?
No, it's too easy when you're Aaron Rodgers. When you're Aaron Rodgers, you have 20 seconds.
I watched the guy on the fucking Vikings did it.
Oh, yeah, Kirk Cousins.
They were also playing the Lions.
They're also playing Detroit.
Daniel Jones did it. Like a shitty quarterbacks do it. You can't touch the receivers. All you need is if you get the ball at the 35-yard line, okay, with 40 seconds to go with no timeouts. All you need to do, because everybody's covering the out, you do a receiver does a curl over the middle, you can't touch
It's up to the defense has to change. You're going to make a new rule because it's too easy for a team
take away the field goal. Take away the field goal. That's all I can say.
Let the defense hit a guy 10 yards deep.
How many times?
You can't touch him after 5 yards.
I agree with that since day one. We're not talking about a field goal rule, though. We're talking about that's football in general.
But at the end of the game, you can't touch anybody, and you're letting this guy running a 4-2.
How many times was the game-winning field goal? Put it like this. So they kicked a field goal to tie it, or say another team kicks a field goal from the 40, and then you get the ball back. Why should you have to go further? They did the same thing.
It's different. It's too easy at the end of a game.
Listen,
there has to be only 8 seconds to go.
You're not saying the wrong things as far as it's being too easy. The offenses are much better, and the defenses are not allowed to do as much. And so they're not allowed to cover you tight because then they're going to throw a flag, a spot foul. I get that.
You can make the argument that it's so exciting because even when there's only a few seconds left, the game's
for this
I think it ruins the game.
For this reason, it's why there's like 26 Hall of Fame quarterbacks active right now because all the numbers are crazy. Every quarterback has 4,000 yards.
You can't touch them, and receivers are wide open on every play.
In any event, the Green Bay Packers get this one done. Are you at all concerned, Gooch, with the fact that, like, again, we just kind of sang the praises of the Bengals being good. Like, they're 4-1. They've won 4 in a row since getting the brakes beat off them by the Saints. You're cool with this team right now? Like, you think everything's all good? Like, no, I'm just asking you.
They have major injury concerns on the defensive side. They need to get some of their 2 best defensive players, and it's not close, bar none, first and second, are not playing, and they haven't played. So am I concerned? Yeah, for that reason. You run into a really good team. Like the Bengals they're coming up, but they're not the Bills. They're not these teams that you're like, oh shit.
But what do you think? The Packers are 8 in the last 23 games. The Packers are 18-5.
I'm not worried. Am I concerned?
I'm only asking him about the status of his team right now.
Do I think the team
talk like this in front of me and AJ right now? It's embarrassing.
Do I think that we're talking about? Am I worried going into the year? I'm like Super Bowl or bust. So
yeah, of course.
A failure to me is just making the NFC Championship and losing again. You can't have that. So,
but I'm saying is,
man, what's that like?
For you to say like, you worried about the Packers? Because Rodgers isn't worried about the Packers. No, I'm not worried about the Packers.
I'm only asking Gooch because he knows the team, like the back of his hand. And
Dave should be worried about the Packers.
There's a lot of guys. Listen, there's a lot of guys out there. In fact, my brother, remember when we made those shirts for the dog party, right? Yeah. So my brother was at the party over the weekend. He went. I couldn't because I had a wedding to attend. He went and he dropped the podcast to a couple of the guests, one of them being a very big Packers fan. So all of a sudden we have and he's probably just going to love you. He's going to absolutely adore you.
I love him back already.
You guys are best friends. All right, so the Packers win 4-1. Congratulations. Now let's get to the game of the week, in which the Dallas Cowboys.
I also want to mention that the Packers are
Damn, I
down
was
their
right
two
there.
best offensive linemen. So Cowboys.
Bakhtiari back next week.
And Elton Jenkins.
Bakhtiari-
I
no?
think one more week.
Okay.
Trey Jenkins.
So the Dallas
Elton.
Cowboys take care of business, and when I say take care of business, the game was, the spread was 7. Vegas had them winning this game outright, no big deal. They ran away in the second half, like they've done multiple times this season. The Dallas Cowboys get a win, 44-20 over the New York Football Giants. My immediate takeaways right off the rip. Listen, I am the people look at me like, oh, this guy is a Cowboys fan, so he's like delusional. He thinks they're the best team in the league. Blah blah blah. I'm never that case. I'm confident when they're good. I'm miserable like Jimmy when they're bad. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys right now are a top 3 NFC team. Top 3 NFC team. I'll put them behind the Bucs and the Rams. That's it. Both sides of the ball. What are we looking at? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Both sides of the ball.
What about the 18-5 team we just talked about?
The Dallas Cowboys defense is better than the Green Bay Packers defense right now, and it's not
Defense,
a debate.
I said overall.
Overall, so the Cowboys offense are scoring 35 points a
I mean,
game, and the defense
the team
is
that was
picking
playing
off
it-
every
The
quarterback.
team that was playing against 6 New York Giants, and the game didn't get pulled away till
So what
into the
happened
fourth
what
quarter.
happened when the Cowboys took care of the Chargers, who are apparently the team to beat in the AFC?
First of all, wait a minute.
I
The
wholeheartedly
Cowboys are
disagree
good.
for
I
obvious
admit it, but
reasons.
Fine.
in terms of,
But this
I
is
would
a
think-
typical Cowboy fan approach to things, and it's week 5,
Listen.
and he's the top.
No,
It
no,
doesn't
no,
matter.
no.
I don't give a
Until
shit.
And
Tom
that's
Brady-
it. And by week 8, I could say they're the 10th best team.
until Tom Brady is out of the league.
I just said Tampa
So Tampa
and the Rams.
and the Rams, and then you got to put the Packers there. They just won 4 in a row, and they were 13-3 last year. What happened? One bad game against the Saints, an anomaly odd game where Rodgers had the
I'll let
worst.
Jimmy
You're
take
gonna
this one.
you're gonna hear me over and over every week say Aaron Rodgers is pound for
Here's
pound
how you have
still
to
the
be.
best quarterback in football.
Time out.
I'm not denying that.
If you're a Cowboy fan, you have to look at it like this. Clearly, you're a very good football team. Okay, there's no doubt about that. You're in a shitty division, so you're playing well. You should go out and play, but you've done. There's no history. You've done nothing
throughout the season.
You've done nothing in the last 10
I typically
years.
ignore
Nothing.
the power rankings anyway.
You
because
can't
it
say
means
nothing, first of all.
You've done nothing in the last. What have you done in the last 10 years?
I mean, they've made the playoffs, and by that stretch, you make the play. Only 6 of the conference make the playoffs.
So Daniel Jones,
No,
is
they
he gonna-
haven't.
Is he going to
The
make
Giants
it?
have not.
It's been 10 years. No, it's been
It's-
less than 10 years.
Is
They haven't won a game since the boat trip.
Is Daniel Jones going to make it?
Daniel Jones, first of all, and any shout out
right?
to any Giants fan who's challenging that hit on Daniel Jones as being a dirty hit.
Well, it's
Once you
dirty.
get out of the pocket, Mr.
What was
Jones,
dirty
you are
about
a
it?
running back,
That wasn't
and you
dirty.
got starched
I didn't
by
see
my
that.
guy
Like,
Jabril
maybe
Cox.
people are just
He
got to
just
be
hit it.
trolling.
First
It's
of all,
the
Jabril
goal
Cox.
line.
See,
Clocked them.
It's the goal line.
again, that's Cowboy. What happened is he got tackled and his head hit the turf, so he got a concussion. That's what happened. It wasn't no massive hit like, oh.
And it
Watch
was
it again.
It was. It was.
Watch-
Look,
watch it again.
Daniel Jones had everything to as much to do with that hard hit as the other guy. They met. He initiated
but
the contact. You protect the
anybody-
goal line. That's a great
was-
football play on both
I
sides.
know-
You
problem
know who
with the play. He just-
doesn't
the
make
kid-
that play?
The kid got hurt.
Jalen Smith does not make that play. Jabril Cox, the rookie, makes that play. All right, look, aside
Listen.
from the injuries that happened to the Giants, and listen,
Cowboys
they-
are good.
they
Cowboys are good.
stacked up.
Giants
The
stink.
Giants-
Cowboys are good.
the Giants injuries stacked up, and I feel terrible for a Saquon Barkley because that kid can't
Such
catch a break.
freak injury.
He can't catch a break, and it
Freaking-
sucks because he's a good kid, and I feel terrible for that. Daniel Jones, he got up, he did the stanky leg, and he was out on his feet. He's out. Galladay, I don't even know what the hell happened to Galladay. He's out, knee injury, right? So the Dallas Cowboys
plus
beat
Slayton, plus Slayton.
Slayton, Shepard. They're
So
all
take,
gone.
take every NFL team, including especially the Packers and like even Tom Brady, take away their top 3 wide receivers, and odds are the game doesn't go as
Oh,
well.
I said
and
it.
their
I said it.
quarterback.
I
Except
said.
for Tom Brady.
And the
I said.
quarterback.
But listen, I said
Except
that.
for Tom Brady would still find.
I said if the Dallas Cowboys do not win this game with all the stuff that the
should.
Giants, then the Dallas Cowboys are not in the conversation of being a playoff team.
We only
let
have
alone,
we only
you know,
have we only have 41 more NFL games to break
No,
down.
move on. But
Right?
I
What
did
do we-
have I did have
Listen.
the pleasure of listening to some of the Giant game on the radio
Oh, Bob Baba.
and Carl Banks. And Carl
Oh, that
Banks
had to
was-
be a
Carl
horrible,
Banks
terrible
was
hit.
ripping.
Of course he
Carl Banks
was.
ripping on. He was ripping. I never heard a guy. I'm thinking like, God,
They're frustrated over there.
Oh.
As far as even in the
and
announcers,
Carl Banks sounded
Bob
a little
Papa-
bit like a guy. He's like, hey, I played on a good Giant defense. They're like,
I've
he
worked
was-
with both of these guys. They're fantastic human beings, but they're so tired of this shit. They really they're like, if they blow a coverage, like, yo, you see him? He's 20 yards down. What the fuck is going? That's what they want to say.
it did seem that way. He was ripping.
They
on.
want to say that. Listen, The Dallas Cowboys are 4-1. They've won 4 in a row since the
They look
Tampa
good.
loss. They were one. Look, I'm gonna go. I know
Cowboys
it's
are good.
I know it's moral victory Dave over here after week 1, but they were a bad pass interference call from beating Tampa Bay, so they could be 5-0. They're 5-0 against the spread. But the Dallas Cowboys are playing well right now. They're
Yes, they
they're
are.
one of the most explosive offensive teams in football.
I'm going to
in
piss in your
football.
Cheerios right now.
And I'm,
There-
no,
there
you
are
can't piss in these
there are a
Cheerios,
couple
baby,
terrible
because
calls.
I'm going to eat them up.
There are a
Because
couple-
shout out to everybody who said Zeke was
couple
washed,
terrible
too, by the
calls
way.
away from they kind of should have lost the Chargers game. I thought bad calls down the stretch fucked with San Diego, and I'm still calling them San Diego.
They're
I
in
don't know
San
if I'll ever
Diego.
get used to that,
They're definitely insane.
but that's what happens in the NFL. We'll
Ebbs
give you
and
that.
flows.
That's where
Ebbs
they're
and flows. They
they're
got
a
New England
4-1
next
team.
week.
I
Mac
get a
Jones.
They're a
I get a-
4-1 team.
I got a question for you.
They're good.
Again, you guys are better with stats. This whole Pollard Elliott thing, for some reason to me, I think, and they're both playing great, but when's the last time, and abuse me on this, it seems to me that as that goes on, when you have the two backs,
Mhm.
eventually it's going to bite you in the ass.
Mhm.
Only because when's the last time a team, has there ever been a team recently that either won the Super Bowl?
Your
or-
Giants
No.
won it with guys like Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad
I feel like
Bradshaw.
only
bang
teams.
bang.
I feel like only teams
Those
with the
kinds of
back by
guys.
committee wins
But-
now.
But this,
There's no more
they-
bell cows.
But
Name me one
Time out.
Patriots running back.
But this
Right,
is even
ever.
closer.
Right.
I know they have running backs by committee have more. I'm not saying that, but when you watch the games, you're like, it's like when you talk about Bradshaw and what's his name, clearly one guy was better. In this case scenario, you can make the argument who should be starting.
No,
Well,
no,
here's
no.
a lot
See,
of
that's
it.
the thing. That's mostly crazy people logic. Like, oh no, you got to give the ball more to Pollard because he's so much quicker.
But here's the
When
thing.
you have complementary backs like this, and one guy can beat up the defense and one guy can finesse them,
Forget
that's
about all
a
this.
beautiful thing.
Everybody,
With 4.5
everybody,
minutes to go in a playoff game. That's
everybody stop.
Shitty.
Everybody stop. Here's the
I'm
main.
telling you, man.
Strongly
There's
disagree.
there's two main reasons why you see this now. One, because the NFL
Injuries.
back can't last through 300 carries a year
20
for
carries
2
a
years
game.
in a row.
That's
You
all
just
they
simply can't. That's first. And second is pass protection. A lot of guys aren't good pass protectors. So on third down, you need to bring in your good blocker. Otherwise,
Well, it's the other way around
So
with the
with
Dallas
5
Cowboys,
minutes-
though.
5 minutes to go in a
Zeke-
playoff game, you now have to say, "Oh, I got to take our best running back out of the game." I'm not saying I get it. I get it. It happens in the NFL. When we watch it, you're like, "Oh, the coach is going to have to make a decision in a huge game in the playoffs."
But-
where early in the game, a guy like Pollard could have 9 carries for 70 yards. But maybe he can't pick up the blitz or reverse. Hey, we got to put Pollard in because I don't know.
Well, here's
who's
the
better
thing.
at
Well,
picking
here's the
up blitz.
thing. When it's first and goal from the 4, you're not going to see Tony Pollard in there. You're just not.
You might.
You're just-
You
no,
might
no, no, no.
from time to
And
time.
you did last night because Zeke got hurt for a minute. Okay, because he landed on the fucking
trust me
pylon.
when I tell you
But-
I had McCarthy, and you will see Jamal Williams / Tony Pollard in the goal line in certain sets.
The only reason why, and I say this, it's not a good comparison because the Cowboys were shitty, but they had a guy named Marion Barber and Felix Jones, right? Felix Jones was the flash. Barber beat the shit out of the defenses. That's what Zeke is doing. He's beating you up. So when a guy like Pollard comes in, it's a finesse game, man. He's so quick. And it's a good problem to have. It's not even a problem. I can't even call it a problem.
To me, it's a really
What's
good
the next game?
regular
Well,
season.
hold
thing.
on. We're not done with the Giants yet because I can go on and on about the Cowboys. But the big problem here is the
No.
New York Giants.
Giants got issues.
The
man.
big problem here is the Giants, and I know they're hurt, but shout out to your boy Tony, who was having a career game, right?
And then
He looks like he could be something if he keeps his head on straight. First of all, don't know what goes into the logic of punching a man with a helmet on.
I actually liked it because
I liked it too. I was a
good,
big
good. I'm
fan.
glad you guys
Here-
like
here's
punching
what-
guys with
no,
helmets
here's what
on.
it
I'll
is.
tell you why.
He's a receiver. He needs his hands.
I liked it.
The Giants are completely. They're such a wussy team, a wussy organization, and it was the Giancarlo Stanton moment for me, where somebody finally
He
just
said,
said,
all right, enough is a fucking enough.
exactly right. That's
We're
how
down-
I
What's
look
the
at it.
15-yard penalty going to do? The hand thing, I could agree
Yeah,
with. Stupid.
his approach was wrong, but the fact that he
But
tried to hit
And,
somebody.
and listen, again, I am a straight down the middle Cowboys fan. The game got chippy. There was even guys on the Cowboys that were messing around.
when I was
and
his age,
shoving guys
when
in
I
the
was
face.
his age, I was getting ejected.
And you're telling me that Tony just got
promise you
good
that.
this week? I think Tony should have been starting. It was so
Well, he had an
clear.
ankle thing. He, had
practice.
COVID. He had
didn't practice.
bullshit. He
didn't
until
practice
week
the whole
one.
season.
The
Preseason.
Giants have that whole organizational. We do things the Giant way. That's nonsense. You know who's the best cover guy on the Dallas Cowboys?
Trayvon Diggs.
He
who
didn't-
got
he
his 6th interception in
And
5
he
games.
was getting spun around by Tony. I was like, look at this. This guy's open on every play.
There was a couple
that just
times, yeah.
happened this week. He should have been starting from the day one.
That's your boy Joe
draft
Judge. Your boy Joe Judge. Real does not recognize real. He obviously doesn't see the talent that Tony possesses.
And
he needs to be in the game.
And you know what? They're all going to be fired.
I guess we'll
year.
find out when these guys get back. If he
see.
loses playing time,
We'll see.
Then we'll see what
We're going to go to break,
really
AJ, before we
why
drop.
why would you even start the other guys? Let the rookie play. You're paying him $1 billion.
Yeah. So
stupid.
all right, Cowboys are 4-1. They're riding high right now, and I'm
Giants
still
stink.
riding high. Giants stink. We're going to take a break. We're going to grab a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to put a bow on the rest of Week 5. I know we covered the first 3, our teams, for a long, long time, but we'll fly through the rest right after this.
You know, myself and Gooch are both getting a little older. One of the first things to go is your vision. Thank goodness for our hookup over at Absolute Eyewear in Woodbridge, New Jersey, right on Main Street next to the train station. They have glasses for all ages, all budgets. They have safety glasses, sports glasses. They are a full-service powerhouse offering eye exams and even free lenses for the kids. They work with BCBS, AAA, AARP, giving massive discounts. They're open 5 days a week, closed on Wednesdays and Sundays. Call 732-326-3937 to get your first pair of Ray-Ban, Burberry, Coach, Polo, you name it, they got it. Go see Craig and Johnine right now.
You go to die, but you're in heaven.
We're
back.
You know what the best part of it was?
What?
The owner was putting the different games on.
Uh-huh.
When you go to like these places, they put the placards underneath everything.
Yeah.
This was like, you want to put the
He knows.
the Raider game on? It was like, I love that there was like not sure.
One remote.
Yeah, they give me
Anyway,
that game on. It was
Welcome
great.
back to the Chop Sports Daily here on a Victory Monday for me and Gooch, not so much for Mr. Palumbo and or AJ Bascone. We're coming to you live today from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey. So a game that I know, AJ, we talked in pre about it. I tried real hard, but that rain delay really screwed me up with the lightning and stuff. I was so tired, but we continue our Week 5 coverage with the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Buffalo Bills. In the game that's most recent in your minds right now, the Bills took care of business, bro. Our Josh Allen is, when you're talking about, people talk about Kyler Murray, and I throw my Dak Prescott in the realm of MVP talk. Josh Allen is that dude. That defense in Kansas City has big issues if they want to do anything in the AFC, because they just completely starched the Kansas City Chiefs.
I thought the Chiefs got their ass kicked the
Absolutely.
whole game.
Pillar to pillar.
They're 2 and
Post to
3.
post.
They don't look good. It's that open offense thing. Their defense stinks. The Chiefs, I don't know.
Yeah, there's some glaring issues on that. In
Yes,
that
there
secondary.
are.
They cannot stop the
It started
pass.
with it's even.
And now I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire might be
Toast.
done for an extended period.
Yeah.
He looked like he was really injured. But
Gotta
with
find
knees, it could just be
a waiver
bruise.
wire.
Could be a bruise. Hopefully, for their sake.
Even
it's a
if
bruise.
when it's a leg injury, it's such a hard thing to predict on how much time these guys can actually miss. But I will say, like I said, the receiving core of the Bills had their way. Emmanuel Sanders looking like a rookie again, and you said that. You did say that.
Sanders going to have a big year.
There's something nice about maybe it's just a nostalgic thing for me. Like there's something nice about the Bills being good again. I don't know what it is. It's like I feel like you're living in Buffalo.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I've always liked Buffalo.
It's like I always root for the Detroit Tigers and Lions because they always hear about the awfulness going on in that area.
Well, I'm never going to
Let
root
them
for
win
the
on
Tigers or
Sunday.
the Lions, but the Bills I could give
The Bills I can get behind too until it gets to Super Bowl Sunday, and then the Cowboys
Yeah, at a
take care of
point,
business.
any
couple
team
years in a
that's
row.
Of
good,
course against your
at a
team.
point, after a while, any team that has any success whatsoever, I hate. So
Yeah, that's what happens to me. That's why I was
Yeah,
give
I
it a
know.
year or two
Why root for people's success? Weird.
get
What a
this now.
concept.
It's
I'm
like,
tired of
the
the
Bills
Seahawks.
never bothered anybody. Don't we all like the Bills? Give it 3
And then they
years
start-
and they just
Right.
completely dominate
Then they
for
start
3
beating the
years.
shit out of everybody and throw people through
I got
tables.
tired of the Chiefs. I'm tired of the Seahawks.
The Bills
it's
Mafia.
Oh, the
yeah,
Mafia.
yeah.
Well, guys like Boyan, guys, these our friends are
Allen look
Bills
good.
fans.
Bills look good.
They look good. So
Loyal fan base.
moving
Bills-
on. Yeah,
the Bills
moving
have a
on.
loyal fan base.
Bills beat the crap out of the Chiefs. What's next?
All right, let's head over to the game
Bum, 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 bum.
in Jacksonville.
Ah, yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars. We can blow through this one. My prediction was that Urban Meyer will be fired this morning. I mean, I haven't gotten any updates yet on my phone, but I still believe that could be a thing. They're just a piss poor. I mean, look, I don't buy any of the whole, the players are behind him again. There was one guy slapped him right on the ass, I think, during one, like, challenge a coach, challenge, like and he's like, you want me to do it? I got the red flag. You want me to do it? All right, I'm going to do it.
I don't think that Urban Meyer's job was on the line going into this game any
Based
more
off
so
the
than
week
it
he
already
had.
was. I understand, but based off of the week he had, going and losing to Tennessee as an 0-4 team isn't like, wow, like you really blew that one. Nobody expected, except for somehow Vegas thought that this game would be a lot closer. It was only like 4.5, which is crazy.
You can't
to me.
fire. Listen, the Jags
But
stink.
they
You
were
hire-
0-4 going into the game. You're not going to fire the guy for
Can't
losing
fire
to a game that they were pretty much
I'm just
expected
saying,
to lose.
Get up for it. This is not getting up for it. You know, this is a beatdown, and the Titans did what they did. But I'm saying, like, if the Jaguars would have went out here and lost by 3 on a last second field goal, that means, you know what? They rallied despite their shit week. They rallied together, and they barely, like, they just lost. But this is a beatdown, and this is Urban Meyer. They can't motivate his players. Trevor Lawrence is showing you that he has a skill set to get it done. It's just that they're just a bad team.
I don't think they should fire him unless they make a decision at the end of the year. When you fire, how many coaches get fired after week 6 or 7? It's usually lousy franchises.
Safe
anyway.
to assume he's gone after this year, though. You think a one and done?
They're going to review stuff, and Urban Meyer's going to do what he always does. Oh, my heart, my.
I
belly.
still-
I was telling somebody that. I'm like,
don't-
you know, he faked an illness.
I still don't believe that Urban Meyer will finish the season because of other factors, like you just said. He seems to be the guy that when he's losing, it affects him bad.
Like, wait,
Right.
He
do you
doesn't
know
know how
this?
to
I
handle
mean,
it.
It's
obviously,
also he made about $400 million.
Jimmy,
You don't need the
you know
job.
the story, right? About what Urban Meyer did?
With the heart stuff.
Well, no. Last week with the girl at the bar.
Oh, yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Here's the best part about this. He wasn't on the team flight home. Like, that was the craziest
Yeah, but-
part. He was like,
Okay.
"Yo, I'll see you guys. I got some business to
But-
attend to."
No, but
Like,
that's
kidding
not,
me? Like, are you
but he
kidding
also-
me? You're the head coach.
He has family there, and he went to go see his
You're the head
grandkids.
coach. You're the head coach.
He
Get
went
on the
to go
bus.
see-
Get on the bus. Good, great.
I don't.
Get on the bus.
I guarantee
Like, no
that. I
way.
guarantee he set that up months in advance. Listen, I'm going to stay over, see my grandkids go in the morning, and I believe it was a family-owned bar, even so it was weird.
Whatever the case may be.
That's a
Scoop makes a great
non-story.
point.
Non-story.
Yes, Scoop makes a great point. When they move to London, Ted Lasso will be their head coach. They're going to hire a football coach to coach the Jacksonville Jaguars. Anyway,
Which is a
Jaguars,
great
goodbye.
show, by the way.
0-4, 0-5 now. Stink. Whatever. Garbage. Next.
They stink.
Yes, another team that's 0-5.
There we go, Jimmy.
Hey, did
field
you,
goal issue coming
now,
up again? Twice it happened.
So AJ, were you able to pull the clip?
Yeah, let's
Let's
look
do
at
it. This
guys.
is some tragic shit coming right out of Detroit after this loss. Take a look.
Roll the dice, Dan. Goff for the lead. The Lions have it. Joseph to give the Vikings the lead back. It's up there. It's out there. And this time it's through. As time expires.
Guys, we just witnessed a wild one in Minnesota where the Detroit Lions lost their 5th straight game. And Lions head coach Dan Campbell gave an interview where you can tell the loss really hit home. This was another close game for Detroit where they lost to a walk-off field goal in the past few weeks. Anyways, here's the head coach as he gives a really emotional press conference after the game.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough. You know, you don't want that for them. So, but we'll be better for it, you know. And there again, credit Minnesota, but you know, we made the one mistake that cost us, you know, and so ultimately, you know, we didn't do enough to win, but I was proud of them, and I love the fight they have in them, and I love the grit.
All right. Well,
Tough loss.
it's a tough one. Unfortunately, he went from biting kneecaps to Dick Vermeil. like very.
With a lot of drug abuse in between, apparently.
Apparently, he likes the hard stuff. It's a very, very tragic loss for the Detroit Lions and their fan base. But you know what?
Is it?
It is.
Is it?
You know what though? I'm going to say this. I want that head coach who's upset like that.
I want him.
I want that
It
over
is
Joe
classic-
Judge giving me the coach
classic
speak.
case. Classic case. You know what I want Dan Campbell to do?
Bite a
I
kneecap?
want him to coach my tight ends because he's probably a great tight ends coach.
He
Head
was,
coach,
yeah.
He belongs as the head coach of the Detroit Lions because that's what the Lions do. They hire. Look, this guy's got fight. How much fight do you got? You're 0-5. Everyone's talking about wow, they're in every.
But look
game.
at the way they lost.
I don't care. They're keep up. Bad teams find ways to lose games. The Detroit Lions are a bad team. Them winning yesterday would have been cool for him, but at the end of the day, when he's gone after this season, which he probably will be, whoever's the new guy in charge will get their pick at the first quarterback in the draft.
Same thing with all right. Well, Jamie says it too. Jamie Silverberg on our thread here. I would run through a wall for that coach. I'm telling you, this you don't see enough of this.
That was a
You
tough
don't.
loss. The Lions have played some decent football, and they're been competitive. And I don't think he's going to get fired.
I don't think that you should be up on stage crying as the head coach of a football
I'm
team.
not.
after
But
the loss. I
you're
don't
saying
care
that
what.
context of saying like, oh, he's on stage crying. No, he's on stage and he's emotional
No,
because he
he's-
wants this team to win,
I
right?
understand.
And every head coach should. But then you have guys like Joe Judge who gets to the podium and is like, well, we just didn't execute.
And then you got
We
guys
didn't
like Bill
execute.
Belichick
Can't
who shows nothing. So it's like that's
Yeah,
just.
but that shouldn't be the measuring stick.
I think here's what I think. I think for everybody that will run through the wall, there's another person in the locker room that's looking at his boy like,
no,
I don't-
no,
I don't
no.
agree with you on
I,
that.
I think you're.
Relax.
I think
We're
you're
I
all
think he
wrong
wrong
cries
there.
every week and stuff.
I
Yes,
think
but
you're dead. Can you imagine?
You know
Like,
what?
coach
I
again? No, I think you're dead
it
wrong
was
there.
the same thing that they did in the Cowboys locker room when Mike McCarthy was talking to Mojo. They were like,
But that's a corny moment.
you
Yeah.
got to be
Crying like a head
don't know
coach
about the-
like this.
You have to
Crying
show
like
emotion.
this shows emotion.
and then
Shows me
there's
that the coach gives a
there's
shit.
probably like 3 guys on the team. They're like, well, we wouldn't even have lost if you would have called this. So he's getting critically analyzed
man.
by his team. I could promise you.
All
that.
right.
because it's so easy.
Let's
to,
move it on. But
it's
the
easy to
Lions
kick
are
a
0 and 5.
55-yard field goal. with
It
5
sucks,
seconds
man.
to go.
I don't know. The whole
Happens
thing
every
sucks.
game now. It's stupid.
What's
Best
next,
thing that
AJ?
happened to the Lions was lose that game.
All right, quick one here. I think that the Broncos are being exposed. I think they're frauds, and I think the Steelers are a little bit better than what we gave them credit for as far as offensively. There was a couple times that Ben Roethlisberger looked like Ben Roethlisberger, but then again, there were a couple times where his second read wasn't there, and it was just collapse city, and that offense just putters, right? Teddy Bridgewater and that Broncos offense looked like shit the entire game to only score that much on a Steeler defense that has been rattled a little bit this year. I don't know. I think the Broncos, along with the Panthers, who we're going to talk about, are a little fraudulent when they started 3-0. Gooch, your thoughts?
We were waiting for the Steelers to win a game with their defense, and this was the game.
They did,
I
yeah.
think we said it going into last week. I said I'm waiting for the Steelers defense that we all expected to show up, and they did. The Broncos are what they are. They started off 3-0 because they played 3 really bad teams. What are they, 3-2 now?
Mhm.
Go figure.
They may be a little fraudulent.
You know, I wouldn't say they're fraudulent, but they are what they are. They're a middle of the pack team. They have some success on defense. Their offense, they have weapons, but the quarterback just ain't there. I think Bridgewater might have still been a little shungad.
yeah,
but
yeah.
the Steelers defense can turn it around, and I
Steelers-
expect them to.
The Steelers did suffer a little bit of an injury. Juju Smith-Schuster, and the reports have not come back yet completely, but he didn't look good. And they're going to be down that guy. Chase Claypool missed the game prior for a knee. So did Deontay Johnson. They're banged up. The Steelers are banged up.
Juju looks to be done in Pittsburgh for good if he's out for the year because he signed a 1-year deal.
Correct.
Right?
And you know what? That was, to me, I'm not a Steeler guy. I actually
that's-
hate the Steelers based off my, that's my dad. He kind of instilled the hatred of the Steelers for me. But I will say that Juju should have never been brought back at all. Not since last year's all that TikTok bullshit when your team stinks and you lose games and you're worried about your TikTok followers. No, goodbye. That's it. But they brought him back. He gets hurt.
they
It
did
sucks.
go-
But if he
did
has
go
a
13
podcast live from the
They did go 13-3 with the TikTok thing. It wasn't until he actually shut it down where they actually started to lose.
Oh,
which is kind of
Jesus
crazy.
Christ.
Steelers, you know what? The Steelers are, you said it best. The Steelers are not going anywhere. The Broncos aren't going to their middle of the pack.
Both of them. Yeah, both of them are kind of
There's
middle of the
nothing
pack.
going on there.
Next, AJ.
All right, we got the Dolphins Bucks.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is so easy. I'm just gonna sum up the game real quick. The Buccaneers shit pumped the Dolphins. There was nothing they could do. Antonio Brown, in his return back to Miami, let me just say, when he was with the Patriots and Tom Brady, he popped off in that game as well.
He did.
He only had that one game with them, but he popped off.
Yeah, had a long, luxurious career with the New England
He
Patriots.
comes back to Miami, his home city, and he shits on them.
Yeah, Tom Brady's just
Buccaneers.
toying with teams
I
at this
tell you one
point.
thing about Tom Brady with me. I can't stand him because he's so good.
Who can?
But in weeks where I'm really like talking about, you know what, Rodgers is better. Like when you watch the games, I always joke around. It seems like Rodgers is better, and then you watch this game and you go, "Oh my God, no, he's not. He's not. Brady's better." Like to me, Rodgers looks like he effortlessly drives downfield, but then Brady throws.
He dissects
411.
teams. He dissects teams. I played him in fantasy football yesterday.
argument
Shout out to
that
Nicky
there
Smith.
is-
Thank
the
you for the
argument-
beatdown.
You need a really good lawyer to make the argument that he's not by far the GOAT.
No,
he's got rings.
Oh,
He's got.
no, listen, there's no more
unbelievable.
debate. Listen, there's no more debate as
It's
far as the
crazy.
accolades and what he's done.
59 years old.
Right, he's 110.
And I hope he plays
here's
forever.
the best way to say it. Rodgers is the better player, right? I'll die on that hill.
Pound
I
for
have no
pound,
issue with that.
skill-wise,
I have no
agree.
issue with that. But Aaron Rodgers,
I know.
But here's you said it.
I
3
know,
weeks in a row.
but then you watch Sunday and
No,
you
and
go,
then-
oh, dear
because
God.
Sunday the Dolphins are shit. But that's besides the point.
But I know, but the 45 points.
It's
Why-
the
why
NFL
can't
after
they-
all.
What, like if the Giants
You're
had Tom
missing the
Brady, they
point.
would have won 21.
Let me finish my fucking point. The Rodgers is better, but Rodgers would trade his
No.
career for Tom Brady's
Yes.
heartbeat.
No, he's not. He can't make. I don't know.
Jimmy's
if he's better.
contradicting his own point.
I
that he
know,
made
but when
a
you
week
watch,
ago.
But no, what
I
he's
said
saying
at the
is
beginning, like,
he knows what he
I-
said, but then he watches
When you
Brady
watch it,
do
you
this.
go like, oh my God, no.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? Antonio Brown, he caught a 3-yard slant and went 75 yards. That's part of it. His receivers are so good. And I know that, look, Tom Brady's won without receivers, but right now,
and,
why he's
and
putting
the
up
Packers
numbers,
don't have a pretty good.
they have
wide
one
receiver.
really good receiver, but that's it.
You call him a pretty good wide receiver.
I mean, he's the best receiver in
really
football.
good. Yeah.
They've already the guys that make up.
Would
his
you
bust
would you
who
agree?
can't-
Would you agree that the Packers receiving core as a whole, including Devontae Adams, is not even as close
Not
to
not
as good?
they're
as
not they're
Tampa?
not in the same conversation. They're not.
There's 3 Pro
The Tampa
Bowlers.
Bay
on
Buccaneers-
Brady
Brady.
has won with me and AJ at wideouts. He's winning now with good receivers. He won with 3 sets of receivers.
Thanks
in New
for the
England.
fucking synopsis and the breakdown of Tom Brady's successful
He's-
career. We don't care. Tom Brady's a scrub.
Tom Brady's
Always
a
will be.
scrub.
I can't, but you know what's funny
game,
though? As much
Next
as
game, I
hate
can't
him,
do this
Tom
anymore.
Brady's the GOAT, but Rodgers is still better as a
no,
football
you
player.
can't say
Yeah,
that.
so is Dak
anymore.
Prescott.
But
So
I hope Brady plays forever because I have someone to hate when you watch TV. Because I don't want to watch these other lousy quarterbacks. I want to watch somebody.
do not talk positive about Tom Brady with Gooch in the room. Come on, Jimmy. Scoop knows the deal. He's saying it live. The Saints come marching back in, and they take care of the Washington football team 33-22. Game was kind of lackadaisical. I didn't see much of it.
I can tell you why. It was 2 lousy teams in a football game.
I don't agree with the I said this every week, and this is why we picked the Saints, Gooch, right? First week,
Yeah.
good. Next week, bad. First week, good. Next week, bad. Bah, bah, bah. It was their turn to win in this bouncing back and forth season for the Saints. The Washington football team the defense. You guys picked them to win 12 games based off this defense that was being highly touted. They've now lost 3 already. So listen, if you want them to win 15 games, still, it's impossible.
If it's going to be
Or 12 games,
going to
sorry.
be week 11 and you're going to still say
Yes,
every
every week.
time,
Every
then
week.
I'm going to start bashing your shitty predictions. I'm going to listen back
Go
to that
ahead, go
episode
listen back.
every
Yeah,
week.
you know what I had to say.
Here we go.
The Chiefs,
You're gonna put my tweet back up?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
They look good. They look undefeated.
Again, I was not aware that the defense was going to suck so bad. You guys weren't aware that the Washington football team defense was going to suck so bad.
Who's worse? Who's worse? The Washington football team being bad, 2-3, or the Chiefs being 2-3? So I think that's actually a worse prediction.
Yes.
That's the
Want to know why? Because
Washington
Washington hasn't had a winning season in 2 decades. The Chiefs were supposed to be undefeated, according to you. So when we really look at the
You
scale
know
of
what the bottom
things
line
here,
is? The Giants beat the Saints, so that means the Saints stink. And the Giants almost beat the Washington football team, so that means they stink.
Okay, so both
That's
teams
it.
stink.
There you
Saints
go.
going to win 3-2. They're back,
We're
and
moving
the
on.
Washington
Hail
football
Mary
team now
Jameis.
2-3. Yeah. Oh wow, what a catch, by the way. Or what a throw. Another fraudulent team in
This
the record
sucks.
books. This one sucks more than anything else. Is the Carolina Panthers drop a game to the Philadelphia Eagles, 21-18. Look, there was moments that the Eagles, Jalen Hurts going into the week was Pro Football Focus's top 5 quarterback, and in the first half, he looked like a JV football player. He did. Did he turn it up? Did he make some plays at the end? Yes, and that's the reason why the Eagles are flying high after this week. The Panthers, on the other hand, we got a good look at old-ass Sam Darnold. We saw the same Sam Darnold that we saw all last year and the years previous to that. He looked like shit. And the Panthers are frauds now. And now I don't even – when the Cowboys beat the doors off them last week, I was excited. But now the Eagles did it. It takes a little of the luster off of that win
they
to
definitely
me.
didn't beat the doors off them. That was Carolina controlled that game for most of the game. It's just that they didn't put them away. I wouldn't say that they're frauds.
No, I'm talking about the Cowboys.
No, I'm saying that either of these. I'm saying Carolina. I don't think that they're frauds just yet. Their
I don't know,
defense is
man.
going to get better. They're injured. They're missing a lot of guys. And Sam Darnold, for how he's played through 5 weeks, I'll take 4 good games and 1 bad the rest of the way.
Sure, but
You know?
you got to make sure that he doesn't revert back to this shit. You know what I'm
course.
saying? Like,
Guys, this is
and
another-
you know, shout out to
this game is for fantasy football because both teams stink. It's a
shout out to Fogg,
non-game.
by the way, who's watching right now.
Stink.
Who's calling for his head coach's ass after a 2-3 start. But That
after
ain't
a
gonna
win.
happen. That ain't gonna happen. Not
Eagles,
after a win.
Carolina.
So anyway, the
Enjoy your
Bears.
fantasy.
This one was a little shocking because a lot of people, including all three of us, were riding high with the rate. Actually, you know what? I think
I chose the
AJ.
Bears.
I think AJ picked the Bears. Yeah. But this game, Justin Fields definitely played well. The Raiders very surprised here, man. Very surprised because another team that started off hot and all of a sudden now their defense showing their skin, showing their stripes. This is difficult to digest. But what do you take away from this one, Gooch? As far as are the Raiders more fraudulent, or are the Bears going to be that much better with a guy like Justin Fields at the helm?
I think the Bears offense didn't really look that great, right? They scored 2 times early, and then from the rest of the way, it was nothing. So I think it was just a case of they got out ahead, they laid the wood, and there was some big drops by the Raiders. The Raiders kind of shot themselves in the foot. Two potential touchdowns, one that was definitely a touchdown, dropped early, and it changed the whole trajectory of the game.
Oh, baby.
I'm not really a fan of Justin Fields the way he's playing. He doesn't look accurate to me. I'm excited to get him next week.
I was just going to Jamie Silverberg watching. The Bears lead the NFL in sacks, Fields in control, O-line doing their job, beating the Packers next week.
Is this the third time I'm going to say both teams stink? We're moving on.
No, listen, I like Justin Fields, man, and I think
So do I.
Gooch,
But, Bears
this is
winning.
going to be one of those moments. You just said it before that you're excited to get him. I don't know how excited that would be with this one. I just don't. I don't know yet, and I'm not. Obviously, the line came out already. We'll talk about it as we.
I for once am gonna agree with Jimmy. Yeah, this game does suck. We should.
Okay,
you
but I'm
say
saying the
it
Raiders
sucks.
started off hot.
Everybody can say these teams are both shit. The Bears have a home game coming up, week 6, for a chance to be in first place in their division, but nobody gave them a chance.
And
to
the
be in.
Raiders are shocked everybody the first couple of weeks. Both of these teams do not stink. These two teams right here are going to be in the fight in the wild card.
I think what everybody
end of
has right now is going on is that they don't realize how long the NFL season is, and you're going to win some games, you're going to hit some rough patches, and then it's up to the really good teams that kind of right the ship. This is week 6.
I used the phrase that team stinks, but that can change.
Coming to the Chop Sports Podcast Network, a podcast entitled "That Team Stinks."
They stink. I use that phrase. They stink.
They do.
But in 3 weeks from now, I may say, hey, you know what? Bears are pretty good.
All right, we'll see. Next, here we go now. The game that saved the day as far as our survivor pool picks are concerned. The Texans were shocking the Patriots basically throughout this game. Flea flickers here and there. Like the Texans were playing loose. This is what they got to do going forward because they really don't have much hope when if Deshaun Watson's not your quarterback and will never be your quarterback again. This is the kind of shit we're going to see. Davis Mills is your guy. We're riding Mills Mafia right now. They almost took out. I mean, look, the record for Bill Belichick against rookie quarterbacks, I believe he's like 22-6 or some shit. Like he dominates these young kids, and I think that didn't sound good at all. Pause on that one. But the Patriots,
Go Penn State.
Go Joey P. But yeah, the Patriots came back in the end, righted the ship, and now the Patriots. How do you think they look, Gooch? On the surface, the Patriots as a whole, Mac Jones and struggling against the Texans, and they ran with the Bucks, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, where do you look at the Patriots in 5 weeks? I need your careful analysis because the Dallas Cowboys are coming to town next week.
The Patriots are a young team. They have major issues scoring points and moving the ball. If it wasn't the Texans, this game was a blowout the other way because they completely sucked in the first half. They got themselves into position to score and squander the opportunity with fumbles in the red zone. The game really shouldn't even have been close. The Patriots kind of did dominate, but one of those anomaly games where they gave up a big play almost every single time they gave the ball back, it was a 60-yard play.
Who gives a flea flickers anymore? Like those things. I thought those were the thing of the past.
Rutgers does.
Yeah, that's very true. See, those things work at the college level.
What you got is a Bill Belichick not losing the game late and just understanding how to manage the clock better. There's no excuse for the Texans to have lost that game.
True.
No excuse.
True. But Belichick is Belichick. He gets the job done. Patriots
I don't
win.
know
They're
what to
2-3.
think of the Patriots because, I want to say you can't say they stink, but maybe they do. I don't know. You love to say when they play the Cowboys that Belichick's going to dial up some kind of defensive thing, but I don't know if he's got the horses anymore.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if he has the talent on his team to do the Bill Belichick things.
And here's the great point, though. If let's just say Tom Brady was like, no, I'm loyal, right? And he stayed. Right now, no one would be like, wow, Brady threw 450 yards. Like, it's the situation that he's in. This is allowing him to do that. Great. He played himself into a position to go pick where he wanted to go and handpick free agents. But if he stayed with the Patriots, he'd be injured last year. They wouldn't have been shit last year, and Tom Brady would be out of the league by now.
Well, here's the thing. If Brady stayed with New England, he'd be Big Ben.
Yeah.
Same thing.
He'd be
Big Ben's
holding,
like, shit. Like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. You know what I mean?
But I can also, wait a minute.
Also, the Patriots would make the playoffs.
Wait.
No, yeah. In the same breath,
and
the
then
Patriots make the playoffs.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
totally.
can make the
I
argument
get it.
if Brady was still with the Patriots, they'd be 4-1. They would have been like
Whatever.
The anti-Brady sentiment just goes away with every
Well,
time.
no, look what Brady
Another
did in his
touchdown.
look what Brady did
Another
in his
touchdown.
last year with the Patriots. Very, very.
It was
average
rough. It was
season.
tough sledding for Tom Brady in the last year, and that's why he left. He's like, you know what? I don't want to go out like this. I'm going to go in the Super Bowl. So that's what he did, and he called his shot.
Also,
Next.
fuck him.
Also, fuck Tom Brady.
That was very nice of you,
Bitterness there.
dude.
Nice close on that one. Who's next? The biggest offensive explosion game. I didn't see much of it because this was during the Dallas
Chargers
slate.
defense.
That was shocking.
What's
This
the
entire game. This game should have been 7-14.
14-7.
14-7?
Nah.
He said, nah, it should have been 7-14.
Like last week, it was. I think the Browns actually won 14-7.
They did.
right?
They did, in fact, win 14-7. But this game, I know I give a lot of shit to Big Jim Slobin. He always puts out like 18 posts a day for Chop Sports. So I did see him say, like, this is the first team in the history of mankind to score 42 points, like 500 yards of offense and lose or something like that. That sucks. Baker Mayfield, really gutsy performance. Also, shout out to Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. That offense is great. But the Chargers, boy, oh boy. I mean, look, this makes the Dallas Cowboys the win over them make me feel a lot better about my team because the Chargers offense can move that ball. Justin Herbert is really good at football.
Full disclaimer: your resident fantasy warlord sat Justin Herbert and started Daniel Jones and took a hot L because of it. So, well done, Gooch.
But anyway, Justin Herbert finding ways. Eckler is amazing. I think AJ was very high on Eckler going into the season, so I know he was on his fan club. And I think if you drafted Austin Eckler in the first round or something like that, he'll pay for, I don't know, unlimited
You know
pizza or
what?
some shit. Like he did something.
At the end of the day, okay, no matter what year, whether you want to go to the 70s, 80s, 90s now, if you give up 26 points in the fourth quarter, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Even when you have a shitty defense, it's hard to give up 26 points. And now they scored 15, the Browns. So it wasn't like they were they were scoring as
They
well.
had him. They had him on the
What I'm
ropes.
saying is 26 points in a quarter. That's hard in the NFL. Very hard.
Cowboys did it against the Eagles. They scored 22 on
Justin
answer in the
Herbert's
third quarter.
got the juice.
It's hard. 22.
This is the end of the game.
Yeah.
26.
Yeah.
Bad job.
In any event, the Chargers are 4-1. They seem to very well be the team to beat in the AFC with the Buffalo Bills. That could be a really good fun
And
time.
shout out to Mike Williams. Whoa,
Jesus Christ. I mean, he
He
gets
is-
better every week.
he's legit
Every
as it
week.
gets.
He lost the dreads and gained some talent. That's exactly what Mike Williams did. So shout out. Yes, absolutely shout out to that team. So my biggest question here with this next game, the San Francisco 49ers, I think we all picked the Cardinals to go 5-0, and now they are 5-0. Bigger shock to you, the 49ers being 2-3 or the Cardinals being 5-0, Gooch?
I guess when you're going into the season, I was definitely high on San Fran and low on the Cardinals. Coaching is the main reason for both of those reasons or both of those opinions. Now going into this week, I'm not shocked that San Fran shit the bed on offense again and that the Cardinals were able to hang on and win the game. You're going to see this. The Cardinals are a complete team. They didn't have it offensively yesterday, but their defense took over and won the game. For
Right.
them. So when you got a team that's doing that, I don't care. Quarterback play, weapons on the outside. Rondale Moore, bro, that kid makes.
Did you see
plays.
that one
You see
catch
the
on the
catch he
side?
made
Oh
on the
my
sideline?
God,
He's just
man.
impossible to account for. They move him in motion, and he's literally running like a 4-3 in the
Across the
backfield.
field.
You can't keep up with that. This guy, they have as he gets his legs under him and knows the offense, he's going to be special.
Isn't that crazy though? How you say that as he goes, like he's already like a star in the league all of a sudden.
He's going to be a special player and
Yeah.
a perfect complement to a player like Hopkins because you put him in the slot, you can line him up in
And
the backfield.
don't forget about Christian Kirk. Like those guys, they have an offense. And Chase Edmonds, I think, has fallen under a lot of people's radar as far as a good running back in the league, along with
Yeah,
James Conner. Like they have a decent
good
offense.
1-2 punch. The
Listen,
offensive line is
Arizona,
good.
first of all, 5-0 is 5-0.
Yeah, and Rondale
And
Moore.
odds are they're going to be, unless they completely shit the bed, they're good. Kyler Murray.
Well, here's the thing with
Legit.
them: is the
Kyler's
NFC
good.
West is tough. Like they're going to be dealing with the Rams all year.
But they're a
They're
big
going to be
reason-
dealing with the 49ers again. They're going to be
They-
dealing with
here's
the,
here's the beauty.
Start
Here's the
5-0
beauty
is
of
a
it, though.
big deal.
Here's
Great
the
start.
beauty of it, though. Seattle, they're not really that good right now.
Well, now they're
right?
8 weeks without Wilson.
San Fran, guess what? San Fran's
Seattle's
not really
tough.
that good right now. The Rams, really good team. Guess what the Cardinals did to the Rams in LA? They
Yes.
beat them up. So
Yeah.
as far as like handling the teams in their division, I don't know. Russ is out for extended period.
This
They
could
just
be-
beat the 49ers 2-0 in their division. They're on their way. And
This could be the new Chiefs.
Rondale Moore, he's only playing like 20% of snaps.
Crazy.
Wait until this guy gets going. That's all I'm going to say.
That's
You
nuts.
know you're special when all you have to do is touch the ball 2 or 3 times a game, and you change the entire game.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. But so the Cardinals are 5-0,
He's like
and that's a big
Kadarius
one.
Toney.
Yeah, he's definitely Kadarius Toney.
Honestly,
Just has a worse right hook.
Tony's a
Which,
little
by the
bit
way,
bigger.
Tony, you missed. He missed. He was right there. Anyway, next.
Those Florida players are great.
Yeah.
We don't really have a graphic for it. I have the other graphics, but we are on to the Monday night.
Oh, all
football
right. So
matchup.
we wrapped up week 5. All right, my bad. I didn't know that was the last game on the slate. So look, Monday night, we're not done with week 5 yet. We have one more game to go. And it is the I almost said Baltimore Colts. I'm not aging at all. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the Indianapolis Colts live in Baltimore tonight. The spread, however, is 7, you said?
It was
AJ?
7.
Okay, so
The only important thing of this game is that Pittman needs to get 3.6 points in fantasy.
I need him to
And
get.
I need him to get about 40.
I
but
need
go
him to
ahead.
get 58.4.
Yeah. I need him.
I
I need him big. I need a lot of Pittman today, and I need a lot of it.
That's because
finding one
I
guy.
started Daniel Jones over Justin Herbert.
That's your fault. I mean,
He had
that's,
49 points.
you set yourself up for.
The Colts
Pain.
are struggling here, but Pittman.
But the Ravens, listen, the Ravens are coming into this game 7-point favorites. They're home, so that makes sense. Carson Wentz is who he is. Like, we'll find out which version of Carson Wentz we get tonight. But when I look at this Ravens team, they're good, man. They're good. Both sides of the ball. The Ravens defense, like they've had some injuries that they've had to deal with. I still don't think Lamar Jackson will win you a game with a throw. He'll probably do it with his legs. Tonight, the Colts defense does pose a problem. I think the Colts defense is actually really good. So this might be a low-scoring game. So that 7-point number scares me a little bit. When it comes to giving you a game pick, we'll start with AJ. AJ, when you look at this game as a whole, on the surface, the Ravens are there, 7-point favorites, home team. Are you riding with them, or are you going the other way?
No, so I'm going to be riding with the Colts here. I just think that the defense is I think that personally they're going to stop that record tonight. The Colts have been preparing for this game literally since the beginning of camp. I just read an Athletic article about it. They've been honing in on week 1 and this game. They have been preparing for this game for months. They're going to show up in this one, and I think they're going to utilize the run game. That's something that the Ravens haven't been really tested with this season. Right now, they have the second lowest rushing yards allowed, but their yards per carry is about middle of the pack. So if the Colts try to bring the edge on the ground, I think that they could have some success in this one.
So with that being said, who are you picking?
I'm picking those Colts.
All right, so you're taking the Colts
Are
plus
we-
7.
Can we put Baltimore in the last 20 years of teams that never suck?
Yeah.
Yes. They're one of those teams that are just
Okay,
always
just-
good.
Since
I
the
mean,
Ray
no,
Lewis
no.
2000, since like 2000.
Since they beat the Giants in the
Last
Super
tw-
Bowl,
last 20 years,
they've
the
never been
Ravens
bad.
have Never sucked.
yeah, correct.
I love when a
And
team
look,
never sucks.
you say that because you put the Steelers in that
Yeah,
conversation,
Steelers,
right?
yep.
So imagine being in the same division every year, just beating the shit out of
With
each other
two teams who
every
never
year.
suck.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Gooch, where are we going with the pick, man?
For what AJ said about the Colts being prepared for the Ravens for like the past month or whatever, maybe that's why the Colts have sucked to this point because they should be preparing for the teams that they're playing that week. But all that said, I just think that the matchups in this game, the Ravens, outside of Marquise Brown or Hollywood Brown, his name is Marquise, right?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah. So outside of Marquise Brown, they don't really have anybody that could beat anybody deep. It's going to be one of those games where it's going to play into the style. I just think stylistically, both these teams are going to be looking to run the ball, right? And when you're getting 7 points in a game that I think is going to be slow pace, I'm not laying the 7. I'm taking the Colts.
Taking the Colts. Jimmy, what do you got
Very
here?
evenly matched game to me.
Two teams taking the Colts because of the number.
I'm going to take the Ravens based upon they never suck. That's my theory of it.
I am actually going to take the Jimmy philosophy here. I'm taking the Ravens tonight, man. Listen, it is a really high number. I don't agree with the number per se. Like that's a part that scares me, but I think Lamar Jackson is just, when push comes to shove, it's hard to stop. He's like Vaseline. You know what I mean? Like you can't grab him.
Good play.
He's just a slick dude. Again, not convinced he's the greatest passer in the world, but he gets the job done. Tonight he gets it done again. He's at home. He's going to win. That's just I'm with the Ravens.
Are we transitioning? Are we off the NFL for one thing? I know we have 3 Yankee fans in the room.
Okay, we're back on the Yankees. Do we really want to do this?
Yeah, just
we
for
want
five-
to
just
end
for
this
five-
shit on a
just
high
for
note.
5 seconds.
All right.
Was anybody more annoyed than me that everybody's like, "Oh, the Rays, the Rays, the Rays." Wait do you see the Rays? And then the Red Sox, Fenway.
Did anybody see the ground rule double?
First of all, the
I watched
Rays
the- I watched the last-
Rays got ripped off.
That's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
that's the rule. It's always been the rule.
so if I'm a right fielder and I punt that shit, into the stands.
No,
it's a double?
Yes. Forget about the rule. It's like the Red Sox fans, they don't leave the stadium till an hour after the game. The fans are still there. The Red Sox
have the
knew
worst
the Red
fan-
Sox were going to win that game.
The Red Sox have the worst fan base in baseball.
Oh, I disagree.
Dude,
Yankee
yeah,
Stadium, there would have
Listen,
been
I hate
8,000
the Red
people
Sox
there.
more than I hate
They
most
have the
things.
best
They
fan
have a really
base.
good fan base.
Oh,
Yankee
cool.
fans
You guys
can
are
be a little
fucking
spoiled.
adorable.
What's wrong with them?
What's wrong with the Red?
I don't like them.
You don't
Oh,
like
you're a
them.
jerk-off.
So
All
they're
right.
unlikable. Yes, they're
Yes.
dirty. They're scummy. They're
But
shitty.
when
But they're still
guys
real
didn't-
loyal.
You didn't watch the game at all. I'm sure you didn't.
No.
I went on MLB Network.
Yeah, I'm watching
And it-
Red Sox games on a
Well,
Sunday.
I did because it was sitting there. All of a
Well,
sudden, I'm
Jimmy
like,
has to. He's depressed
I
already.
was like, and I'm watching this game, and I'm like, it had that. It was like dark in Fenway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was 8
a
o'clock
little
at night.
chilly.
So
And
the
I'm
next
like,
time Jimmy has a segment and he brings it up and says something about the Yankees and doesn't talk about the Yankees,
I was
no,
just gonna say.
it's as a Yankee fan.
I
it's
feel-
like,
All right.
I
I'm gonna.
meant as an anti-Yankee.
Rapid-
I was
rapid
Red
fire.
Sox are up 2-1. How could that be? We would have been swept already.
Rapid fire to end the show. Okay. We are now 6 days removed from the Yankees being eliminated, right? So the season's over, blah, blah, blah. Whoever wins, wins. I don't give a shit, right? Rapid fire, Gooch, yes or no, Boone is fired this week.
no, they're just not going to bring him back. Because
Well,
they
no,
can't fire
that's the
him.
same
Yeah.
thing. Is he brought? Is he?
Are they gonna
Are
make
they
the
announcing the
announcement?
fact that Boone won't be back this week?
No.
Okay, just so you know, just so we're all aware, they waited 5 days after Girardi got eliminated, and then they did it on the 5th day. This is the 6th day. Do you think it's happening?
Boone's not going to go anywhere because Cashman, because the Steinbrenners don't really care.
Because he's a
And
robot.
So Cashman,
So
Cashman
that's
is like
why.
the owner now because the Steinbrenners are just sitting in Florida. They make money. They don't care.
Right.
And they will sell the Yankees soon because they can get like the most valuable franchise.
Jerry
ever.
Jones is going to buy the Yankees,
Yeah,
by the
there
way.
you go. That'd be
That'd be-
great.
Oh my God.
Aging Jones. No, but no, I don't think they're going to fire him. I think they're going to sign him to maybe. I don't think they're going to get rid
What
of him.
I'm hearing is if they sign him at all, it'll be like a 2-year deal. So like it's not a lame duck thing. They don't have to waste all this money. Like 2 years, give them a buffer. They got to rebuild that team. We'll find out about it.
but
The
nobody-
offseason's here.
I
I can
think
promise
Boone
you this:
did
any news or any type of anything that you think anybody knows or is reporting on is all bullshit.
Yeah, but Boone
All
did it. I
bullshit.
don't
They
think
have-
Boone.
nobody has any idea what they're going to do if they do bring him back. How long it's going to be? What the terms are going
I
to be?
think Boone did
That
a
is
decent job.
completely. Look,
But that bullpen thing he does, that's what most of the coaches do
hey,
now.
hey, Jimmy. Forget this season. I'm talking about you had 4 or 5 years in New York and you didn't get it done.
Do you know that? Oh, by the way,
What are
Jimmy,
they-
did you know that stat? That this is the first manager in Yankees history to be retained for another year, if they retain him
I know, but
for
just
another year
because-
without a title in 5 years.
I know.
Everybody else has at least won one.
But I don't think. But you have to. Yes, it's odd,
Crazy.
crazy. But I
Crazy.
also don't think. I don't think Boone did that bad a job with this, flawed team. Unless you make the argument that one man saved him, which is Giancarlo. But I
And
don't
with
know-
that,
But
we're
no, I
going to
don't
wrap
think-
things
look,
up.
who are they going to get?
I have no idea. I
For
got to look at the free
instance,
agent
though, like,
class.
Cora on the Red Sox is clearly the best manager in baseball to me.
Yeah.
He gets a very average team. to
I want
play
a guy
well.
that's willing to cheat.
Oh, my God. All
Like
right.
Alex Cora.
With
or
that
AJ
being
Hinch. I want
said,
a guy
ladies
that's
and gentlemen-
willing to do something. It's like, oh, we might not get caught. Fuck it. Let's try it. If we win the World Series, you're not going to take it away.
So Gooch has lost all integrity in sports.
Okay.
With that
I'm
being
surprised
said,
you're not a
this guy
Patriot
wants his
fan.
28th title, and by hook
Hey.
or by crook, we're
Hey.
going to do it.
I'm not a Patriots fan, but I would definitely take Bill Belichick as my head coach.
They've always
So,
cheated.
Man, a win is a win
Institutionalized
is a win. So this has been a very long episode of the Chop Sports Daily. We covered week 5 from bell to bell, really. Next, we will have the Jimmy Palumbo show being recorded live here from the Flipping Made Easy studio. That episode will drop tomorrow. Another episode of What Happened to That Guy, or what is that the name of it? I keep
Friday. Do you remember that guy?
Do you remember that guy? I run the damn thing. Like I tried it. It's just too much.
Is that guy dead?
Squeaky Bum Time podcast drops tomorrow. We'll get a full lineup. Maybe the Jets definitely have to come back after their loss and face the music. And of course, the Mets might come back this week. I want to assume they do to talk about their offseason plays. But yeah, so
Is Chop Sports doing all their shows from London next week?
yes,
NFL
Jolly Old
League?
London. For the NFL films. So yeah, we'll get all that B-roll. So for Sturge and Gooch, and of course, special guest Jimmy Palumbo and AJ Bascon behind the glass. This has been another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Shout out to the Cowboys grounds crew for cleaning up 14 pounds of Daniel Jones snot at the goal line.
He did look.
Bro.
So he literally
That
got
was
the
such a
snot
down
knocked
goes
out of him.
Frazier
I love
moment.
it.
Bro, stood up and couldn't stand.
Do the stanky leg.